So in this episode, I'm going to talk about the differences between Kuda and Gdzie. So Kuda is where to. Where are you going? And it requires the accusative case. And Gdzie is where are you? What's your location? And it requires the prepositional case. So if you bumped into someone on the street and you say, hey, where are you going? Where are you going to? Kuda ty idziesz? They would answer using the accusative case, я иду в парк. Right? Я иду в парк. So in this case, v means to, and park has the accusative ending for a masculine noun, which is none. Or they could say, я иду на работу. На работу. And in this case, na also means to. And the ending of работа changes to u because it's the accusative case. And say on the other hand, you call someone, you want to know where your friends are. And you're asking, where are you located right now? So, gdzie wy? And they tell you, we're in the park. My сидим в парк. Yeah, в парке. So this is the prepositional ending. And here, v means in or at. Whereas with kuda, it meant to. Now it means in or at. Or you call someone and they say, oh, I can't talk. Я на работе. So again, na means in or at, and the prepositional ending of работа is работя. So whenever you're using kuda, you're saying where to, and you need to use that accusative case. So your destination, their answer, or their destination is going to have an accusative ending. And anytime you're saying where you are, or asking where someone is, the location is going to have a prepositional ending. Okay, so now let's look at these prepositions a little bit more closely. We have v, which roughly means in, inside of something, something that you would go into, and na, which roughly means on or at. And we're going to use na when you're talking about a noun that describes like something open air or relatively flat, like a stadium or a field. And then also regions, like you'll remember na jugie, right, in the south, na stadionie. And these are both gdzie, right, because they have that prepositional ending. And you also use na when you're talking about an event. So v is to go into a building, and then you would use na when you're talking about the specific event that you're attending. So я иду в университет на лекцию. Right, so we go to the university, into the building, so we're using v to attend a lecture, and we use na. So we can look at this in a little bit more detail. So let's say we have a building where people live. So we say, this is all Kuda, by the way. Я иду в этот дом, but I'm going specifically to the second floor, на второй этаж. Similarly, я иду в оперный театр. So I'm going to this fancy opera house, right? Very beautiful. And when I go in, в оперный театр, but I'm going there to watch a woman sing. Oh. So, я иду в оперный театр на оперу Carmen. So the specific event is the opera that I'm watching. Similarly, я иду в театр. Let's say it takes place in that same building. Я иду в театр, but now I'm watching some people perform a play, right? So я иду в театр на спектакль, right? You can also go to another beautiful fancy building with columns and maybe a dome. And this is the conservatory, right? Я иду в conservatoriu. And I'm going to the conservatory to watch someone play on a grand piano. So I'm going на концерт. Я иду в консерваторию на концерт. Okay, so now that that's a little bit clearer, when you would use va and when you would use na, let's talk about what the opposite of kuda is. So kuda is where to, or direction towards something, and its opposite is откуда, which means where from. So direction away from something. And when you're coming away from something, you're not going to use the accusative case that you used with kuda. Instead, you're going to use the genitive case. And your prepositions are going to be different. So both va and na have opposites for when you're coming away or when you're leaving. And they're both going to require the genitive case. The opposite of va is plus the genitive case, and the opposite of na is sa plus the genitive case. And then we also have a preposition that we can use with kuda, but not with где, by the way. So this is ka plus dative, and this is when you're going to a person. So to the doctor, to the policeman. If you're going towards a person, you're going to use ka plus dative. And if you're going away from that person, it has its own opposite, which is at plus the genitive. So this is only to be used when you're coming from a person. Okay, so let's just look at a couple examples. So ya idu v školu. This is Kuda, right? And now I can say ya v škole. I'm already there. So this is the prepositional. And then I finished with my school. I'm heading back home. Ya idu iz školy, because iz is the opposite of v. So just to remind you, kuda requires the accusative, gdje requires the prepositional, and kuda requires the genitive. So let's go to work. Na robotu. Я на работе, and я иду с работы. And if I was going to a person, I would say к врачу or к другу. And when I leave them, I say от врача, от друга. So hopefully this makes the differences clear between kuda, gdje, and then откуда, and also clears up the prepositions that we use with both of them. So just a reminder, you can also use the prepositional if we're talking about gdje. And we understand a little bit better when to use va and when to use na. One of these that you should just remember, because it's not quite like we do it in English, is na pocztu. So poczta and zavod, factory, they both require na, even though we maybe don't think of going on the post office. I think it used to be open air is the thinking.